Hello and welcome back to the Cocked Dice. In this week's video I'm tackling the Black Knights chapter of Space Marines. These guys are a Dark Angel successor. I'm going to use a lot of the same techniques we'd use on a Dark Angel model, only give it a rather funky black colour scheme. So I'm basing this around an Assault Intercessor. This one's one from one of the multi-part kits. I've grabbed a Dark Angel power sword, I think that's the Primaris upgrade sprue. I've grabbed a Terminator chest piece. Now I'm going to use this mainly for the chest because I don't think I can fit this cool kind of sword belly protection armour thing. I'm not sure where. Trying to figure out what that goes in, where that actually sits on a Terminator. I've grabbed a few other bits and pieces, mainly some winged bits. One from a Blood Bowl, one of the new Blood Bowl humans, and a wings from a cherub. Now I'm probably going to try and fit these onto his helmet and give him a winged helmet. The other thing I'm going to try and make some of these molecular bonding balls, pods, things, whatever they're called, like this picture here. Now these are going to be made from probably these here, which are around about 1mm. I think they're nail art balls. I grabbed them off eBay ages. I've had this kicking around for ages and I meant to do it in a previous video and haven't. I've got about three or four different sizes in this set, so I'm going to go with this kind of middling size, which looks to me to be about a 1mm ball. So where do we start with this model? Well, we're going to start with his chest, and then we'll do his leg, and then we'll sort the rest of him out later. Taking a look at the Terminator chest, it is a little slimmer and smaller than Space Marines. That isn't a huge problem, so we're going to take this just over his belly plate there, and we'll cut this off just above this armoured section here and just keep this kind of cool winged skull element. And then obviously I'll take the top of the Terminator cowl off as well. So first job here, sharp knife, and just trim this off, going straight backwards on either side. Like so. And this bit, you can see it's got three little hinges on here. We want to cut across there, so I'm going to cut just underneath those hinges, so I've got a bit of wiggle room to play with there. Do this really carefully because we want to try and save this for any kind of future conversions. Now you can see I've managed to damage the side here. That was brilliant of me. This is what you get for trying to film and convert at the same time, and I can't always get my head and knife in the right position. We can clean that up a little bit later, probably with a wee bit of green stuff, but for now this will do, and we'll just trim the inside of this with your knife just to smooth it out a bit and get rid of these three hinges here. And now we're onto the Primaris torso, and again we want to make a lot of very light cuts, just following around this belly plate here until we cut through it. If of course you're not too bothered about saving the chest torso, you could just take a pair of clippers above this and then trim it down afterwards. And then once you've managed to cut the main torso off, you can see here we just need to clean up the end of this a little bit, and it's just a matter of taking a knife around it very carefully. Just trim it off until we get a nice smooth edge to this. It's going to be mainly tucked underneath this chest piece, but the cleaner you can get it the better, because it makes the conversion a lot easier later on. So we'll get the front and back of his torso stuck together as it is so far. So as we can see there, it is a pretty good fit on here. I need to trim out the back a little bit and slim it down because it's sticking forwards just a little bit more than I'd like. So these bits here are going to have to get trimmed off because they're sticking a little bit far back, and then it should just sit on there quite nicely. So if we get too far into this next step, you'll want to mix yourself up some green stuff. We will need some for this, and I'm just going to try and take this in a straight line there. So grab yourself a ball of green stuff, get a nice wad of it together, and we're going to, I normally make a tube and stick it into the torso like so. So it's sticking out quite far, and then you can use that to stick to the back of this, and then you just push two bits together, making sure you line up the shoulders as you go in. So you can see here you've got a nice big gap there, and what we'll do, once this has a bit of time to dry off, we'll run some green stuff under there, and then obviously fill this out a little bit and do my usual to really kind of bulk this up a bit, make sure the arms will fit. So I'm going to pop this to one side for the moment, let it have a bit of time to dry off, and then we'll fill it in with some green stuff in a moment. Right, so we're now onto the leg, and as you can see here, I've made a load of marks on the leg just using it's actually a CD writing pen, because it marks plastic really well. And I'm going to grab a drill with a small drill bit. Now I've done 5 lines here, and then the centre one is going to have just 2 balls on it, then the side one's going to have 3, and then we've got 3 down this side as well, just set lower. I could sneak a 4th in at the top here, but I'm going to skip that just to speed things up a bit. And it's just a matter of drilling a little hole, not particularly deeply, into the leg here at each of those points. So you can see there, it's just a little indent. That should be more than sufficient to drop a dab of super glue in and drop one of the balls on top of it. I'm going to drill out all of these now, and I'll be back in a minute. So as you can see now, we've got a bunch of holes in the leg, and either I've completely ruined this conversion, or this is going to work wonderfully. Now my super glue does not have a particularly good end on it anymore. Quite an old bottle. So I'm going to do something about this. I'm going to drop a bit of super glue onto some plastic. I'm going to use an old paintbrush here and dab a tiny bit of super glue into each of these holes, like so, and then let's attempt to pick up. Then just use the same brush to grab one of the balls and drop it into the hole you've just placed there, like so. And of course my camera won't focus on this. There you go. So I'll get the rest of these done. And there we have it. That came out remarkably well, actually. I was quite surprised at that. My big tip for this is do not buy a mixed box like I've got, because it looks like they've been shaken around in transit and they've all got mixed up. And the number of times I've picked out the wrong size and tried to drop it in, probably wasted half a dozen or so at least, and just took ages to sort of. It's really obvious when they're different size though. They might seem in the box to be really similar. There is fractions of a millimetre between them, but once you get it onto a model and a hole that you've pre-drilled, you can really see the difference. But yeah, they're all pretty straight. They're all set where I wanted them to be. So we'll call that one leg done. So returning to the chest piece now, what we're going to do is fill this gap underneath first of all. So get a sausage of green stuff, thin it out as much as you can. I'm just going to lay it across. And there we have it. That is pretty well blended in now. I've done a bit of shaping around this side just to, it was slightly further away on this side, so I had to shape a little bit extra chest and just blend it in to the side of the chest piece there. This side was a little closer and it's going to be more hidden, so that's pretty neat. And then at the tops here, I've just wedged a little bit in and just squared this off a little bit just to hide the gap that was there. So I'm going to get this marine stuck together and onto a base next. So while he's drying off for a bit, we're going to attempt to add some wings to his helmet. Now last time on my Dark Angel conversion, I used the wings from one of the Dark Angel symbols found in one of the vehicle packs. I think it was a Raven Wing pack. This time I'm going to try a different solution. These are some wings from the Cherub that comes with the Devastator kit. The reason I'm trying this out tonight is because the upgrade wings from either the Dark Angel Veterans or the Dark Angel kind of upgrades kit. They're always really expensive on eBay. I managed to pick up this cherub for about 50p, and I reckon these wings will fit quite nicely just behind his ear covers, I don't know, whatever they are, these bits around the marine here. So what we're going to do is cut the wings either side of this central bit of wire on the cherub's wings, like that, and the same again on that side. There we go. So this is pretty simple. They're going to fit on spot on here. We're just going to put a dab of glue just behind his earpiece here. Then with the wings curved outwards slightly, drop these on. There we go. And the hardest bit of this is going to be getting them so they're square and level, but you can see the look we're going for. So I'm going to push these around a little bit until they're right, and then I'll give it a few minutes to dry off. As you can see, I've just used a pin vise drill to drill a hole into the bottom of his head. I don't need the hole for anything in particular. It is literally just to give me a guide, give me something to hold on to rather than trying to hold on to the head whilst doing this. As you can see there, I've got them pretty level. I've gone for fairly straight up, and they sit well on this side. What you might want to do is just around this area here, you may want to drop a little bit of green stuff later on just to tide them up. But for now, I'm going to pop this to one side and wait for it to dry off a little bit, and then I'll stick it onto the marine. So because the size of his arms are green stuff, we're going to have to use some super glue for this, which means we don't have a lot of time to work with it. Because super glue, bonding plastic to green stuff, dries ridiculously quickly, as I've learned in the past. Now originally I was going to drop this piece over this side of his shoulder or onto his shoulder pad itself. However, I've realised that will get in the way of his helmet and the way he's looking, especially with the wings and his helmet, and probably is a little bit of overkill, to be honest. I've already got loads of kind of bits on this that yell Dark Angels. So this is one of those times when less is more, and we'll pop that to one side. What I am going to add, however, is this little shoulder shield from the Blade Guard Veterans kit. It's really cool. It's got this little purity seal hanging off it. Somewhere like that. That's looking about right. And I'm going to drop a purity seal down here. That just helps kind of mask where the join is with the green stuff. So there you have it. One Black Knight chapter Assault Intercessor Sergeant, I'm guessing here. Could be a lieutenant if you fancy it. You could give him a plasma pistol if you fancy that too. For now, you can hang around for a moment and you can see a painted version coming up right about now. And thanks for joining us here at the Clock Dice. Why not like this video and add a comment below? It really helps boost the channel. And while you're at it, if you click on the icon below, you can subscribe to the channel for all the latest updates as soon as they're live. Why not check out some of our other videos and playlists? You can click on the ones on screen right now. Take care, and we'll see you next time.